Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today I will explain to you how to calculate the net present value of acquisition using dividend growth model. So in order to apply the dividend growth model, then we need to go through this example. Okay, so this example giving you the information for Keramat Berhad and Wangsa Setia Berhad. Okay, as you can see, the information given here is the price earning ratio 15:12, number of shares outstanding in each firm or in each company, 1 million shares and 250,000 units shares. And then the last one in the last row is the total earning for Keramat and Wangsa Setia respectively, 1 million ringgit and 750,000 ringgit. Okay, below the table, you can see the informations of earnings and dividends of Wangsa Setia Berhad, which is Wangsa Setia is currently paying 1 ringgit 80 cent dividend per share, and this dividend is expected to grow at a constant rate of 5% each year. So that means before acquisition, okay, before the acquisition or before merger, the current dividend paid by Wangsa Setia to its shareholders is D0 here is RM 1 ringgit 80 cent per share. And then it is also giving you that before the acquisition, this dividend will grow or will increase at the growth rate of 5% constantly every year. Okay, then in the next line, you can see the acquisition. If the acquisition successful, this acquisition will provide some economies of scale. That means there will be production cost reduction, right? That will boost this growth rate to 7%. That means after the acquisition, right, it is expected that the growth rate or the dividends of the company will increase by 7% every year. So the question asks you to calculate net present value for both consideration, that is for cash offer, and the second one for stock offer. So before we start calculating the net present value, so I need to show you 3 steps that will involve here, okay, in order to answer the question. So what are the steps? So the step that I need to highlight to you is, okay, hold on, right? So the step involve, right? The first one, okay, we need to calculate the current value of the firm. Okay, the current value of the firm, that is the value of the firm before the acquisition. Okay, and step 2, right, after we have done with the first step, then we go to the next step to calculate, right, to calculate the cost of equity, right, which is the KE, right, using the dividend growth model. Okay, when the growth rate equals to 5%, that means before the acquisition. Okay, so what is the dividend growth model formula? So the formula is the price of the share equals to the expected dividend, that is D1, and you divide by cost of equity, KE minus G. So how are we going to calculate the expected dividend actually, right? So definitely D1 equals to the current dividend multiplied by the growth rate, okay, which is 1 plus growth rate, and you divide by KE minus G again. So this is the dividend growth model formula. So actually we have done this part, we have deal with this dividend growth model when we did the cost of capital topic, the last topic. Okay, the next one or the last step is we need to calculate again, right, the value of the firm, but this time the value of the firm after the acquisition, right, after the acquisition. All right. Okay. Now let us start to answer the question by doing the steps first. So what is the first step? We need to calculate the value of the firm. So how are we going to calculate the value of the firm? So look at the given information. The given information is about Wangsa Setia. So that means we need to calculate, okay, by using Wangsa Setia's information or data. So how to calculate the current value of the target firm? Okay, that is Wangsa Setia. Alright, so we know that to calculate the value of the firm equals to B, value of the debts plus value of equity. And we have no information about that, so we can assume these two companies have no debts outstanding. So that means the debt value is 0. And plus the value of equity. So how are we going to determine or calculate the value of equity? That is the market price, current market price of the Keramat, okay, of the target shares, all right, and you multiply by the total number of shares outstanding in Keramat. Okay, right. So, but we do not have this market price. So that means we need to find out this. But we do have this, which is, right, as given in the question, that is 250,000 shares. Okay. That is 250,000 shares. So how are we going to find out the market price? So let's go back to the information. So the information here, right, you are given the PE ratio. So how to calculate PE ratio? So to calculate PE ratio, the formula is price per share. You divide by earning per share. So how to calculate earning per share then? Earning per share can be calculated equals to the total earnings of the company, right? And you divide by total number of shares outstanding in that company. Okay, all right. So since we are calculating the current value of Wangsa Setia, that means we are going to use the Wangsa Setia's data. Okay, that is, all right, the PE ratio of Wangsa Setia is 12. So 12 equals to price per share, okay, divide by earning per share. So we still need to find out the EPS here. How is it? So make use of the given information here. Total earning for Wangsa Setia is 750,000 ringgit. And you divide by total number of shares outstanding in Wangsa Setia, which is 250,000 units. And therefore, the earning per share for Wangsa Setia equals to, all right, so that is 3 ringgit. Okay, 3 ringgit per share for EPS. So you substitute this into this calculation or equation, that is RM 3 ringgit. So therefore, the price, okay, so the price here for Wangsa Setia's share is equal to RM 36 ringgit per share. So that is the price per share for Wangsa Setia. So having that calculation and that information, then straight away we can find out the current value of Wangsa Setia, that is equals to, right, 0 plus, okay, the current market price. This is the one that we have obtained in the calculation just now, 36 ringgit, and you multiply by the total shares outstanding in Wangsa Setia, that is 250,000 units shares. Therefore, you can get the current value of Wangsa Setia. I put W, it stands for Wangsa, equals to, okay, 36 multiplied by 250,000. That means you will get 9 million ringgit. So this is the current value of Wangsa Setia before merger. Okay, so that will be for the first steps. Okay, next we go to the second step, this one, using the dividend growth model. So second step, all right, so this one is step number 1. Okay, so now we proceed with step 2, that is we need to determine the KE. So now, right, since we are going to use the growth rate of 5%, that means we are referring to the situations of before the acquisition. Okay, so we are going to use the data of before or current data for both company, or but this one for Wangsa Setia. So now we already had this one. This is based on our calculation just now where we get 36 ringgit. So I just put here, right, RM 36 ringgit and equals to D1 is, this is the expected dividend. So to calculate the expected dividend, right, this is the formula, the current dividend paid by or payable by Wangsa Setia is 1 ringgit 80 cent per share, and the growth rate, that means before the acquisition, this dividend is expected to increase by 0.05, right, or 5%, and then you divide by KE, this is the one that we want to find out, and again you divide by 0.05, the current growth rate. And then we can use our calculator to calculate the cost of equity here using the dividend growth model, and we just rearrange the formula, and then you can get, or you will get 0.1025. So that means if you convert into percentage, it's going to be 10.25%. So that is the KE, the cost of equity. Okay, all right. So now we're done with step 2. Next, we want to determine the value of the Wangsa Setia. All right. So since we are doing for Wangsa Setia, from the very beginning of these steps, then we will continue with the value of Wangsa Setia, but this time for after the acquisition. So what is the value of Wangsa Setia? All right. After the acquisition. Okay. So how are we going to calculate this one? We will make use of the dividend growth model. So using, right, the dividend growth model, okay, after the acquisition, and when the growth rate equals to 7% this time. So we go back to the formula of the dividend growth model, that is the price of Wangsa Setia. Okay, but this time after the acquisition equals to the expected dividend D0 times 1 plus G, that is actually D1. Okay, so this is actually D1. Okay, right, so let me just write as D1 so that you will not confuse. So D1 divided by KE minus G. Okay, so we want to calculate the value of Wangsa Setia after the acquisition. That means when G equals to 7% now. So this is what we want to find out. Okay, and the KE here is a constant. All right, this is actually the discount rate or the cost of equity or rate of return. Okay, so now we proceed. All right, so we put here price of Wangsa after the acquisition here. Okay, and D1, that means equals to D0 times 1 plus G again, and you divide by the same denominator. So what is D0? Given in the question, it's 1 ringgit 80 cents, but this time your growth rate becomes 7%. So 1 plus 0.07, and then you will divide by KE is the one that you have obtained in the second step, which is 0.1025, and you minus 0.07. So then you will get the price of Wangsa after the acquisition equals to, okay, right, let me calculate for you first. 1 ringgit 80 times 1.07. Okay, and you divide by then you will get this time the price, right, become 59 ringgit. It has many decimal places, so I just take 2 decimal places. Okay, 59 ringgit and 26 cents per share. So this is the price of Wangsa Setia after the acquisition. So therefore, this will make the value of Wangsa Setia after the acquisition change to the new value. How is it? So again, B plus 0. Sorry, B plus S. Okay, and then B is 0 plus again the value of the equity equals to, what is it? The market price multiplied by number of shares outstanding, right, in that company. So this is for Wangsa. So therefore, 0 plus the new price of share, 59 ringgit 26 cents multiplied by, and the same number of shares outstanding, no changes in number of shares because Wangsa Setia is or has not has not issued the additional shares, right? So therefore the number of shares is still the same, which is 250,000 units shares. Okay, so therefore the value of the firm, okay, after the acquisition or merger will be RM 14,815,000 ringgit. So this is the value after the acquisition. And we knew that in the first step, the value of the target firm, that is the value of Wangsa, before the acquisition is only 9 million. But after the acquisition, it becomes 14,815,000 ringgit. Right, so there must be a synergy that makes the value increase to this value from 9 million to 14.815 million. Okay, so once we have done with the 3-step, now we can start answering the questions. So the question is asking you to calculate the NPV. Right, so let us calculate now. All right, so I just continue to this part. Okay, right, we want to start answering the question. Part A, net present value of the acquisition, or sometimes the question mentioned about mergers for cash offer. Okay, right. So how much the cash offer? Let's go back to the question. So the question said that the cash offer is 40 ringgit. All right, 40 ringgit for each shares outstanding in Wangsa Setia. Because we know that Keramat is actually planned to take over or to merge with Wangsa Setia. Okay, so that means Keramat is the acquirer. Okay, and Wangsa Setia is the target firm. So that means Keramat is going to pay to Wangsa Setia, right? Pay cash to Wangsa Setia by how much? 40 ringgit per share for every share in Wangsa. So how many shares outstanding in Wangsa Setia? It's 250,000. So that means the cash offer, okay, or cash paid by Keramat to Wangsa Setia is equal to RM 40 ringgit per share multiplied by 250,000 shares. So that means Keramat will pay cash of how much? 40 times 250,000, there will be 10 million ringgit. All right, so this is the cash offer. So let's go back to our working here. Okay, our workings here. Okay, to calculate the NPV. So we are still using the same formula, that is the synergy minus premium. Okay, but this question, right, does not give you a solid information about synergy, right? We don't have any direct information of the synergy amounts from this acquisition. The expected synergy is not given, in other words. So therefore, we need to find out the synergy. So in this case, how are we going to find out the synergy? So we can find out the synergy by comparing between the value of Wangsa, the target firm, after the acquisition, okay, after the acquisition, minus the value of Wangsa before the acquisition. All right, so we can see that the value of Wangsa after the acquisition is 14,815,000 just now, okay, in step 3, right? So this one in step 3. And then you minus or compare to the value of Wangsa before the acquisition, that is RM 9 million. Okay, so this one you obtain from the first step, step 1. Okay, then you can find the synergy. And then the next one, we want to minus with the premium. And then we know that the premium is what? The excess cash paid by Keramat to the target firm, that is to Wangsa. So how much the excess amount paid to the target firm? So that means we will compare, what is it? The cash paid, that is the formula, right? The cash offer by Keramat to Wangsa Setia. We compare this amount paid to the current value of Wangsa. So this is what we did last time. It's the same formula. So we just want to recall it and to apply it again. So how much the cash offer just now? That is 40 ringgit for every share in Wangsa. So since the number of shares outstanding in Wangsa is 250,000 units, then you will multiply by 40 ringgit just now. That means the cash offer is 10 million ringgit. So this is Keramat going to pay to Wangsa. But how much the current value of Wangsa? So the current value of Wangsa, definitely we refer to the value of Wangsa before the acquisition. So that is you minus RM 9 million. Right? This is the amounts that you get from step 1 again. Okay, so having that, you just play with the formula and you use your calculator, right? 14.81 million minus 9 million. Then the synergy from this acquisition is expected to be 5, or the present value of this synergy is 815,000, right? And how much the excess amount paid by Keramat to Wangsa? That is 10 million minus 9 million. So that will be the excess amount or the premium of 1 million ringgit. So this 1 million ringgit will be beneficial to Wangsa Setia, but it will be the cost or disadvantage to Keramat because Keramat has paid the extra amount, right, to the target firm. And this amount actually, the premium amount here is actually making the cost of the acquisition become more expensive, right? Okay, so therefore the MPV equals to 4,815,000 ringgit. So this is the MPV, right, using cash offer. So that's why, right, if we have done the 3 steps earlier, then we can simply plug in the calculated figures into our calculation of the MPV. Okay, so this is the MPV for the cash offer. Alright, so I hope you understand with this part. Okay, for part A. Now, we want to go to part B. Alright, part B still asking you to calculate the MPV of the acquisition, but this time the company plans to pay stock offer, alright, buy stock or share swap, we call it. So this one, stock offer. Okay, right. So how are we going to calculate? Now, we need to know the exchange ratio. Like I said last time, first thing we need to know what is the exchange ratio. That means how many shares that Keramat going to offer to Wangsa. Okay, class, let me explain to you again. Right, this time we are going to do the second questions, that is the calculations of MPV using stock offer. Okay, the formula is still the same, synergy minus premium. But before that, we need to know the exchange ratio, right? So the exchange ratio means that we want to know how many shares Keramat Berhad is going to offer to Wangsa Setia's shareholders. So from the questions, right, if you go back to the question states that Keramat is going to offer 600,000 shares in total for 250,000 shares in Wangsa Setia. All right, so that means the total, all right, shares to be offered by Keramat Berhad to Wangsa Setia is 600,000 shares for 250,000 shares in Wangsa. So Wangsa Setia will no longer exist, as we know, after the acquisition, and the new shares issued by Keramat to Wangsa's shareholders will make the shareholders in Wangsa Setia become as the new shareholders in Keramat. Okay, since Wangsa is no longer exists after the acquisition. So there will be a new shareholders from Wangsa Setia, all right, in Keramat Berhad. Okay, now, so let's go back to our calculation. Right, so what is the amount of synergy? So this one already calculated in part A. So that is the difference between the value of Wangsa Setia after the acquisition and the value of Wangsa Setia before the acquisition. So this difference give you a synergy of 5,815,000 ringgit. So that means RM 5,815,000. So that is the premium amount, still the same amount. Okay, right, next minus premium. So this time it's the stock offer. So that means the difference between the stock offer and the current value of Wangsa Setia. All right, so this one same as what we did before in the previous example. Okay, we proceed. So RM 5 million synergy. Okay, and you minus the stock offer, which is this one, 600,000 units share offered to Wangsa Setia's shareholders. And then current value, this one we already calculated in the first step where we get 9 million ringgit. Right, so as you can see the equation, right, in that equation this is in the form of number of shares. So this again will make that the equation cannot be solved. So therefore, what should we do then? Again, we are applying the same method as what we did last time in the previous lecture. We need to convert these 600,000 unit shares to RM. And we need to recall the formula of how to convert this number of shares into RM. So in other words, we want to know the worth or the value, okay, of the shares issued or offered to Wangsa Setia. So how much it worth? Okay, so in RM. So now we are going to convert it into RM. All right, next we proceed. Okay, and we again take the value of the synergy, 5,815,000. All right, now we want to convert the number of shares into RM. We need to recall the formula, that is alpha, that is the percentage or the fraction of the ownerships of the Wangsa shareholders in Keramat Berhad after they receive 600,000 shares. How many? Okay, let's continue. All right. How are we going to determine alpha? All right, so we proceed first with this one, 5,815,000. And then The formula of alpha is what? The new shares issued by Keramat, right, to Wangsa Setia, and you divide by total shares outstanding or issued by Keramat. Okay, after the acquisition, how many shares issued now? Okay, because currently the number of shares issued by Keramat is only 1 million shares. But then if Keramat issue to Wangsa 600,000, so this will make more number of shares outstanding in Keramat Berhad. Okay, and then multiply by value of combined firm. So how to get the value of the combined firm? So this one also already discussed with you before. That is the current value of Keramat plus, alright, current value of Wangsa and plus the synergy. Okay, and this is the whole component, alright, to calculate, right? The whole component here is representing the calculation of the value of the shares issued by Keramat, alright? And again, don't forget to minus the 9 million here, right? Don't forget to minus RM 9 million here. Okay, because later on we are going to determine the value of the premium. Okay, so let me change here to the black ink, right? So RM 9 million here, right? So that there will be a consistency and to minimize the confusion, right? Okay, next. All right, next. Proceed. Again, all right, RM synergy, right? RM 5,815,000 ringgit. All right, and then you minus. So how many shares issued by Keramat to Wangsa? That is 600,000 shares. Okay, and then you divide by the number of shares issued by Keramat after the acquisition. It becomes 1 million plus 600,000. So now it becomes 1.6 million. Okay, no more 1 million. Okay, all right. And then you multiply by this one, this portion. That is the value of the combined firm. So our issue here, what is the current value of Keramat? Now we need to go back to the question. So this is the time for us to calculate value of Keramat. Same as what we do for the target firm. All right, Wangsa Setia. So how is it? Again, we need to B Keramat equals to B plus S. Okay, and again there is no no debts outstanding in Keramat, and therefore debts will be 0, and you plus the market price, right? Current market price per share of Keramat shares multiply by the number, the current number of shares, shares in outstanding. Okay, so 0 plus. So how are we going to find out this? This is our issue here. Okay, so again, we need to use this information. What information? The this one, the PE ratio and the earning per share. Okay, so earning per share need to be calculated. So PE ratio is already given 15. So how to calculate PE ratio? price per share for Keramat, divide by, what is it? Earning per share, PE ratio, right? And then you get 15. So how are we going to determine the earning per share for Keramat? And again, same as what we did for Wangsa, to calculate earning per share equals to what? Total earnings. Okay, you divide by total shares outstanding. Okay, in Keramat. So what is total earning? Total earning is 1 million ringgit. Okay, so that is here I put 1 million ringgit, and you divide by number of shares outstanding currently in Keramat is 1 million shares. So that means the EPS is 1 ringgit per share. So this EPS is substituted into this formula. Okay, so now let us calculate for the price per share for Keramat. Okay, so let's proceed. Below here, the market price is what? So this is the working PE ratio. All right, equals to let me go back, equals to 15. All right, that is the price per share divided by earning per share, which is equals to 1, right? 1 ringgit. Okay, so therefore the price per share for Keramat, okay, for Keramat currently equals to RM 15 ringgit per share. So therefore, what is the value of Keramat then? The value of Keramat equals to current price 15 ringgit multiply number of shares, current shares outstanding, which is 1 million shares, not 1.6. That one is after the acquisition. Okay, 1 million shares. Okay, so therefore, the current value of Keramat equals to 15 million ringgit. Okay, so this data will be calculated into our calculation here. So you take, right, you take this RM 15 million, right? This is what we calculated just now. Okay, 15 million by using the PE ratio and the EPS. All right, so it is value for Keramat plus current value of Wangsa. This is where we get from step 1. That is RM 9,000. Sorry, 9 million ringgit. That is from step 1. Okay, and then plus synergy. The synergy is the same as what we calculate just now. Okay, 5,815,000. Okay, so that is the value of the combined firm. This one. Okay, value of Keramat and Wangsa. So if you notice that these two value, the current value of Wangsa Setia and Synergy, if you plus these two, you will get 14,815,000 ringgit, which is equal to the value of Wangsa Setia after the acquisition, where we can see in step 3. Right, later on you can check. Okay, now don't forget to minus with, what is it? With the current value of Wangsa Setia, which is 9 million ringgit. Okay, so that we can determine the value of premium later on. Okay, it's a bit lengthy, but then once you know and understand, then I guess it shouldn't be a problem later on. 5,815, this is the synergy. And now you minus what is the value of the stock offer. Then we need to calculate here. So the value of the combined firm, how much? Alright, so first we need to calculate here. Alright, 15 million plus 9 million plus 5.815 million. So the value of the combined firm is RM here, 29,815,000 ringgit. So this is the value of the combined firm. Okay, and then for this one, the value of alpha 600,000. Okay, you divide by 1,600,000. Then you will get here 0.375. So this is alpha, right? And then what does it mean? This is actually what the new shareholders from Wangsa Setia can claim from Keramat Berhad, okay, after the acquisition. And the balance of 62.5% actually can be claimed from by the existing shareholders of Keramat. Okay, next. All right, let's continue. All right, so now you can see here, actually the current value of Wangsa Setia is only 9 million ringgit, but Keramat is willing to pay more, right, for Wangsa Setia by offering 600,000 shares. And these 600,000 shares actually worth 11,180,625. Okay, right now let's continue. So how much the premium actually? This is the amount of synergy, the benefit that Keramat is going to get. Is it going to be more than the premium? The premium will be the cost to Keramat because it is the excess amount paid or payable to Wangsa Setia, right? So that is minus 9 million. Then the premium is still lower, 180,625. That means, right, Keramat is still getting the benefits. It's still beneficial for Keramat to acquire or to merge with Wangsa, even though Keramat pay more to Wangsa, pay more than 9 million, okay, more than it was. All right, then the premium is 2.18 million. That means the MPV will be 5815 million, right, minus, then you will get the MPV of RM 3,634,375. Okay, so it's still a positive MPV, same as the cash offer, but this one, the MPV for stock offer. Okay, if we compare to the cash offer, the one that we have calculated in part A just now, MPV cash offer, all right, equals to how much just now? Let me show the value to you. That is 4.815 million. Okay, this is what we have calculated earlier. All right, cash offer MPV, it's going to be 4,815,000. So this is the MPV using cash offer. It's still positive, same as stock offers MPV. But then, if the question asks you to choose, okay, to choose which one the acquirer or Keramat Berhad should use, is it stock offer or cash offer? That means which one is more profitable to Keramat. So it's going to be cash offer, because cash offer is going to give more profit from this acquisition. So therefore, Keramat should choose cash offer. Okay, if the question asks you, should Keramat Berhad proceed or take over or acquire Wangsa Setia, the answer is yes, because both MPVs are positive. And then the next question is, please advise Keramat which options should be chosen. So the answer should be, or your advice should be what? To choose the highest NPV. That means in this case, we should choose or advise Keramat to use cash offer because, right, it provides or it offers a higher positive NPV because both are positive, right? So we need to mention lah which one is the highest one. So it's the cash offer. Okay, all right, so that is how we deal with the dividend growth model. So basically, we apply the dividend growth model when we want to determine the cost of equity and the value of the firm after the acquisition using the model. Okay, that's why I always advise my student to follow the 3 steps first before we start answering the required questions. Alright, I guess that's all. Thank you, class. Assalamualaikum.